Satnam and welcome. My name is Ann Taylor. It is my honor to lead you in Kundalini Yoga today. This is week 1 of our July series, Freedom and Liberation, Reclaiming What Has Been Exiled. I have coordinated this series with the 4th of July, so here in the United States, big celebration, particularly the 250th anniversary. So yesterday was a time when people came together. It was lovely here in Williamsburg, regardless of people's opinions. Everybody joined in together, singing and celebrating, having a very peaceful and nice time. But what we are looking for in this series is not the external freedom, although they are very likely, probably related. We're looking towards internal freedom. And so what do I mean by that? Well, let's just take a look briefly at the 4-week arc and see where we're going. So today's focus will be the nature of freedom, the space between stimulus and response. So the underlying goal, if you will, or objective of our practice today is to discover how, as we increase our awareness, we are able to choose more freely. By the discipline of yoga, pranayama, it gives us an opportunity to slow things down, and as things emerge, we're looking for that gap between the stimulus and response. Week 2, next week, we're going to move into freedom from fear. So we'll be working with very gently with fear that may have been inherited beliefs or protective patterns that we established when we were young and that no longer serve us. In fact, they impede us. Week 3, we move on to the freedom to choose. So that's strengthening the capacity to live from intention rather than habit. Instead of just going through life on autopilot, we're looking to bring intention in little by little. And then week 4, living from a liberated heart. And that is where we are going to integrate the month-long work. Now, if you had a chance to take a look at the newsletter that I send out with the details of this course, the image that I chose was a river with 2 banks on either side. And this month's yoga class interweaves with the symbolic salon, which occurs on Thursdays. Now, I know there's some overlap. There's a few of you that are in both. And you can be in the salon and not yoga, yoga not the salon, that's fine. But there are 2 paths going along the same river, and that is freedom. So the focus right now for the salon is working on shadow and learning how to communicate with unconscious material. Here, we're going to do the work on the mat. So that my belief, as is many practitioners, is that the body holds wisdom. It is possible for the body to release traumas, to release some of these things that are keeping us from living a truly more free life. They can be let go of without the mind having to rationalize, intellectualize. So that's why I think the 2 work so beautifully hand in hand. To understand some of the theory, I do love to weave in some Jungian thought and theory along with some yogic tradition wisdom as we practice. So looking at freedom that exists within the human psyche, freedom that exists within the body, and how the body actually can help us through the process of self-liberation. So Jung would say things like that we don't live a free life if our lives are directed by unconscious processes, by shadow material projections, complexes that are autonomous, old wounds, conditioned reactions. So the two meld beautifully. Freedom begins the moment that we become conscious enough to choose rather than just repeat, rinse and repeat. So just before we actually tune in and begin our pranayama, a couple of questions just to not to, again, rationally think of, just let the energy flow. Where in your life do you notice yourself reacting automatically? Or where in your life are you consistently on autopilot? Or another question might be, what old story still seems to live inside of you? And so we're looking for just incremental changes. I mean, there may be some huge changes, but for expectations, let's just put a crack, open it a little bit, and see what might be possible. The pranayama for today is stress relief and clearing emotions of the past. So it's a breath pattern that we'll do, and the idea is to, if thoughts come up, they will naturally. The goal is just not to grab onto them, not to ruminate. Just let them come, let them go. And let's rub the palms of the hands together as we prepare to open our sacred circle of practice together, tuning in with the Adi mantra by chanting Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo 3 times, and we'll follow that by the mantra for protection. Check that your spine is straight, aligned but not rigid. Chest out, chin in. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Adgirainame Jugadgirainame Satgirainame Sri Guru Dev Ainame Adgirainame Jugadgirainame Satgirainame Sri Guru Dev Ainame Adgirainame Jugadgirainame Satgirainame Sri Guru Dev Ainame. Inhale deeply, suspend the breath. Exhale, relax the hands down. So sometimes our bodies remember things that our mind has pushed down, repressed, become dissociated from, but the memory is still in the body. So this pranayama helps to clear out some of those emotions from the past. I would encourage you, if it may or may not happen, if a strong emotion comes up, take the opportunity to let it flow. Let it do its thing, let it come up, and then it'll go. That would be, that may or may not happen. That's something that can be a little surprising to people, and they will tend to sometimes, pull that back down. But the whole idea is to let some of these emotions go. So there is a mudra, and we're going to tint the fingers. So touch all the fingertips together and the thumbs together. The palms are separate. The fingers are pointing up. So the thumbs are pointing to the heart center a couple inches away from your body. So tenting them like that. Okay, so my little finger's not straight, but so that doesn't add confusion. Just tenting them, touching all fingers. The eye or the eye position is to look at the tip of the nose. If that's not possible for you, just pick a spot on the floor. The breath pattern is we're going to slow the breath down. Inhale 5 seconds, suspend the breath 5 seconds, exhale 5 seconds. So that's about 15 seconds. So we're slowing our breath rate down to about 4 breaths per minute. That will calm the body down. And then just let's see what comes up. Okay, so eyes are focused at the tip of the nose. I'll start a round or two together, and then you go at your own pace. If you need to adjust the timing, just keep the 3 segments the same. Inhale deeply all through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Suspend. Exhale through the nose. And now continue the breath cycle. If the mind is busy and you find yourself chasing the thoughts, just take a moment, simply notice, and come back to the breath patterns. We don't need to eliminate the thoughts. We just need to learn how to not attach and not let them run the show and drag us all over the place. When we're able to quiet the mind down, it leaves room and opportunity for flashes of insights and intuitions to emerge. And with them, notice, take note. You can work with it later and go back to the breath. Inhale deeply, suspend the breath. Exhale, relax the hands down and leave the eyes closed for a few moments and simply become aware. Okay, and today's Kriya, building yourself to act, not react. So that sums up really the class for today. We're learning to by bringing awareness to our situation moment by moment, eventually, hopefully, we can choose a reaction instead of just have that automatic unconscious process that takes over. And that's freedom. We're going to begin with life nerve stretch. So one of the things perhaps to observe is, can you get into these exercises, and even though some of them require some intensity, can you remain relaxed through the practice? We begin by stretching our legs out, keeping the legs on the floor. Now the arms, it's indicated that the arms can remain straight. If you're able to, put your mudra in toe lock, first two fingers around each big toe, and then the thumb presses into the nail bed. That is toe lock. Or simply reach down to where you can. So it's inhale up and exhale down. When you come down, the head comes down. So for me, it's micro movements. For some people, you're going to really be coming up and down. We'll be doing this just for a couple minutes. Eyes are closed, focus at the brow point, which is the default. And let's begin. Inhale, exhale down. So long, deep breathing. Hold down for a few moments, and then inhale up. And continue. Inhale deeply. Exhale and relax. Now, some of these exercises, the ego is going to chime in and maybe say things like, well, this really feels stupid, or I don't know why we're doing this. Why can't we do something a little different? But the challenge here is to simply notice without judging your mind. Notice where it's going and then come back to the exercise. This exercise requires the breath of fire. So, ladies, if you are pregnant or early menstrual cycle, always substitute long, deep breathing. As a reminder, breath of fire is a rhythmic breath where you pull the navel point in sharply on the exhale. And then as it relaxes, breathing through the nose, the breath naturally comes back in. The inhale and exhale should be equal. Now we're going to be doing this lying down. And the instructions are to dance the body. So move any way you wish, but don't lift your body off the floor. So you're going to be moving all parts. Your body should not be stable. So let's see where the mind goes on this one. So just lying back. Begin a breath of fire with movements. Observe the mind while you're breathing. Just watch. Be the witness. See what's rising up, expectations, disappointments, or glee. Maybe your body thinks this is fun, like there's not enough time to play. Simply notice what comes up. And keep going. And relax and come up into easy pose. Now we'll do a little bit of movement. Putting the hands on the ankles, let's begin spinal flex, rocking forward, exhaling back. Inhale deeply, suspend the breath, apply root lock, pulling up the muscles of the pelvic floor. Exhale and relax. Allow the eyes to remain closed and maintain a meditative state. For some people, that may be quite a challenge. So during the brief relaxations between exercises, you can use a simple mantra like Satanama, Satanama, to kind of give the mind something to do. And now let's come on to the heels in rock pose and continue with our spinal flex. Inhaling forward, exhaling back as we continue doing some work with the spinal area. observing, witnessing. Inhale deeply, suspend the breath, apply root lock. Exhale, coming into easy pose. Eyes are closed, maintain an inward focus. And simply notice. And now let's put our hands on our shoulders, thumbs in back, fingers in front. Inhale as you rotate left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. Eyes are closed, focused at the brow point. Inhale, center. Suspend the breath. Exhale and relax. Again, just allowing yourself to be quiet. And now, with the left palm facing away from your body, bring your right hand and clasp the fingers and pull right at the heart center, about 6 to 8 inches away from your body. And let's begin a seesaw motion. Inhaling up, exhaling down. The left comes up on the inhale. Inhale deeply, Suspend the breath and pull the mudra. Apply root lock. Exhale, relax for a few moments. And with the hands on the knees, let's begin another round of spinal flex. This time you'll notice all of the spine is engaging. And of course, the spinal cord has many offshoots of main nerves that go throughout the whole body, quite a circuitry, plus the subtle anatomy, the subtle yogic anatomy of the Shushmana, the Ida Pingali, where the chi, the Kundalini, the prana travels through. So opening up this area. And inhale, center. Exhale. I realize we've been doing a lot of sitting in this series. Actually, we're doing 2 kriyas, working on the spine now. But the goal right now for today is we're not looking to do a lot of dynamic exercises. We're looking to cultivate awareness. With the hands, let's see, with the hands again on the knees, let's begin shoulder shrugs. Inhaling up, exhaling down. The ego part of our mind definitely has its preferences, and it's going to make it known throughout your practice. I like this, I don't like that. And part of the training is to learn how to give it a back seat. And inhale, both shoulders up. And exhale. And now slowly rotate the head 5 circles each direction. Small circles at first, slowly. If you have neck issues, be extra careful. Okay, and now integrated into the first Kriya is this meditation. It's called God and Me and God are one. Now, I appreciate that the term God is loaded for a lot of people, and it's not going to work, and that's perfectly fine. One of the things I just love that cuts to the chase that Carl Jung asked, the question was, you either believe that you are connected to something infinite or you don't. So, do you believe you're connected to something infinite? The word yoga, to yoke the finite and the infinite. That's why we're doing yoga, at least in this tradition. Some yoga classes today are more about just for exercises, but that's not It's just one small part of the big picture of yoga. So if that mantra doesn't resonate with you, I totally respect that. You might want to say, awareness and I are one, and then just keep cycling that mantra. Or love and me and love are one. Source and me and source are one. Or the infinite and me and the infinite are one. So see if you can just take a moment and find what resonates most closely, and you will chant this out loud. If that is comfortable for you, otherwise just a silent mantra will work too. And so as you're doing your chanting, you're going to begin at the base of the spine with your awareness and just go from the base of the spine to the crown, moving your awareness chakra by chakra. If you're uncertain where they are, just move up the spine and stop at the base of the spine, below the navel. We have the heart center, the throat, and so on. So that's not important. You could just bring the awareness up. And let's begin. Now I will chant silently so that I do not interfere with what you're doing. The hands are in Gyan Mudra, resting on the knees. We're moving towards wholeness. That is my invitation to you. If the mind is wandering excessively, simply notice. Come back to the breath, come back to the mantra, and begin again. Inhale deeply. Exhale, and now gently make your way down onto your back for the integrated gong session. Now have the volume so that you feel the vibration of the gong music. It's not quite the same as being in the room with a gong. However, if you have it to a volume where you're feeling it impacting your nervous system, that's what we're after. So I will start it as you are getting comfortable. The gong activates the sympathetic nervous system. Okay. And let the gong do its magic. You are now laying down. I will remain seated. And now allow your breath to deepen. And when you're ready, stretch your arms out overhead, elongating the spine. And arms out to the side for cat stretches, bringing one knee across your body, turning your head the opposite way, and breathing into the stretch. And switching sides. And rubbing the palms of the hands and soles of the feet briskly, stimulating the nerve endings. And come rocking up as we prepare to close the sacred circle. So today's practice was a little bit different, a little bit slower, with the purpose of creating space. Creating space between sensation, emotion, stimulus, and our reaction. So during this week, perhaps we can notice when some things have gotten us to react on automatic pilot from a place of habit, and then just afterwards just notice and ask yourself, can I bring a little bit more awareness so the next time you get a stimulus, it might be a little bit easier to pause. That is the intention. And now let's rub the palms of the hands briskly together as we prepare to close our sacred circle with a long sat and a short nam. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And inhale to close. Sat Nam. And may you discover that freedom is not found by escaping our lives, but by becoming more fully present to it. May each conscious breath widen the space between stimulus and response until awareness itself becomes your natural home. Sat Nam.